Troy Trojans head coach Jon Sumrall gets a contract extension. It's a bonus edition of Locked On Sunbelt.
You are Locked On Sunbelt, your daily podcast on the Sunbelt Conference, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, welcome to another edition of Locked On Sunbelt, your team every day. I'm your host, Dave Schultz. A little bonus edition, as we did have some breaking news this morning. Pete Thamel from ESPN telling us that Troy Trojans head coach Jon Sumrall getting a contract extension, basically 1 year. Apparently, he had a 4-year deal, 22, 23, 24, 25. And Pete Thamel reporting it's getting extended to 26. So 23, 24, 25, 26. All right. I am not the biggest of all fans of contract extensions after 1 year. There are plenty of examples of, slow your roll. Can we get to where it is? Can we get a little consistency? Now, on the other side of that, if anyone deserves a contract extension, it's Jon Sumrall. First of all, he comes on the show and, he should get a contract extension for that. But obviously he turned Troy around, winning a Sunbelt championship in his first year. Where do you go from there? A Hail Mary away from, being a top 25 team throughout the season. Their lone loss would have been to Ole Miss. And, ends up being, loses a second ball game on a Hail Mary to App State. Comes into South Alabama, beats up a good South Alabama team, that averages 30 points a game. They gave up 6, all right? They do not allow a touchdown against South Alabama. Pretty good. Do not have the most explosive of all offense and relied on the defense. And when necessary, the defense was there. So Jon Sumrall getting a contract extension. And again, it's one of those things where it doesn't really matter. Because say he does it again. Say Troy wins the West and wins the Sun Belt again. Is he sticking around? If he has back-to-back double-digit seasons, is he sticking around? Now, we do have an example, not of that, perchance, but of someone waiting for the job that he wanted. And that's Billy Napier. And he came back one more year with the Raging Cajuns. And had that unbelievable one-loss season, right? Loses to Texas opening game, and then what do we figure out? Rattles off 13 straight wins, goes undefeated in the Sun Belt, and wins the bowl game. And then Mike Desimo actually, they win the Sun Belt championship, and then Mike Desimo takes him and beats, and turns out, ironically, Marshall in the New Orleans Bowl. So they win 13 ball games. The difference between what Billy Napier did and what Jon Sumrall did is that Billy Napier got the Cajuns on the right path, right? Mark Hudspeth had done a great job for 4 years and then a little roller coaster ride towards the end of his helm of Louisiana. And Billy Napier turned that around and went to a bowl game year one. Well, Jon Sumrall did the same thing, except Jon Sumrall basically had Billy Napier's 4th year in his 1st year. He took advantage of a ton of experience in the defense and on that offensive line, could run the football, and when called upon, could make a big third down conversions. All right, it was not an elite passing game last year in Troy, but nonetheless, he's a Sun Belt champion. He's coach of the year. You got to give him more money, and maybe by chance, the big thing we gotta discuss. And maybe more important to him, all right? And this is Pete Thamel this morning. Was it this morning? Let me see what he did at 11:15 this morning. Troy has agreed to a new 4-year contract for Coach Jon Sumrall, which includes a pay raise, which he'll obviously take, increased staff salary pool. That's probably was a key point. I believe it was a key point in Kay Womack's extension, because I don't think he got a big extension. He got more money to go get better assistants, I guess, or pay more money to his assistants. We'll put it that way. And additional program investments for players. Now, what that means, I do not know. can't be weight room, right? But maybe conditioning, maybe diet, something along those lines. What a nutritional bar, something like that. Because I'm sure Jon Sumrall is making well, I would have to find out if he was making more money from Troy. It'd be interesting. Making more money from Troy, or was he making more money as defensive coordinator at Kentucky? I'd have to think about that one. But nonetheless, he's making a lot of money. And I don't know if spreading the wealth is the right word, but he's investing in the program, right? He wants Troy to invest in the program. The thing is, again, is he going to be there to see the payoffs of that investment? Is he going to stick around for like one recruiting class to go through? Because again, if he has a another 10-win season, and God forbid he wins the Sun Belt again, he's never going to be a hotter commodity, right? You got to strike while the iron's hot. Isn't that the saying? Same with Kane Womack, right? He at South, he just got a contract extension, right? They went to a bowl game for the first time in maybe forever, right? And won double digits, setting new school records in victories in Division I. And if they have the kind of season that is expected here, forget about going undefeated or some kind of, playoff run or New Year's 6-day run. Say they just go down to Tulane and they lose to Oklahoma State and they have the kind of Cajuns kind of season the Cajuns had, isn't Womack going to be going away? Or is he going to be waiting for the kind of job that he wants, i.e. he's from Mississippi? Now, neither of those jobs are going to open up anytime soon. You got a new coach in Starkville, and obviously you got Lane Kiffin still at Ole Miss. So it matters on what jobs these guys want, because they will be making enough money where they can pick and choose, just like Billy Napier did, right? Billy Napier, the year before he left, did interview at a couple of places, Auburn, I believe Mississippi State, maybe South Carolina. And it's always good to interview. Doesn't matter what you're doing, right? It's always good to interview. But he was testing the waters and, just didn't find the right spot until he landed in Florida. Now, he's got his issues there, but that's a different story. All right. He got the job. I think he ended up with the job that he wanted. And so we'll see what happens with, Jon Sumrall and Kane Womack. And, you could get Charles Huff, right, in that room. Kurt Signetti is going to be in that room, right? Jamie Chadwell already left to go to Liberty. So we'll see what these guys want to do if they have, back-to-back breakout seasons. All right. Now, I personally think Troy's going to take a little step back because they had a huge turnover. I think 38 new players are coming into the program this season. So I don't think they're going to be quite as good. It doesn't mean they won't have as good as record, but I think they will take a little bit of a step back heading into 2023. We shall see. Maybe the quarterback play ends up being better, and they don't have to hold teams to under 20 points to win ball games for the most part. So, but congratulations to Jon Sumrall. It is a great job by Troy, not only investing in him, but investing in the program. I think that was probably the most important thing. I'll take the money for me, right? But can we get some extra money for the assistants? Can we get some extra money to invest in the program? So when, the 18-year-old, 225-pound player comes in, in a couple of years, he is, 245 pounds and looking like he plays football, something along those lines, right? All right. Thanks very much for tuning in to Locked On Sunbelt. I did want to tell you a little bit about FanDuel before we left. The tournament is heating up. Boy, were those good ball games on Thursday night. My goodness. And now is the perfect time to download FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because new customers get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's bonus bets back if your first bet doesn't win. Just download the FanDuel Sportsbook app. It's safe, secure, and super easy to use. Then you can bet on everything, from the money line to point scores and threes drained. Plus, FanDuel even lets you combine your bets for a chance at a bigger payout with the same game parlay. So don't miss the chance to get your no-sweat first bet up to $1,000 in bonus bets when you go to FanDuel.com/lockedon. That's FanDuel.com/lockedon to learn more. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. All right, wrapping things up. It is Locked On Sunbelt, your team every day. I'm your host, Dave Schultz. Again, thank you so much for subscribing. I mean, we have literally tripled the amount of people who have subscribed. What the subscribers were at the end of February, literally twice that many in the last month. And we were at 40-ish. We're now almost at 140-ish. So even more than that, right? So it's even more than tripled. So really do thank you. We are starting to gain some traction. Really help. I'm really glad about that. And you guys are the reason why, right? I've been doing this since December, but it's because the people watching are starting to enjoy and find out about the product. So we do appreciate it. All right. Also, should be noted, Texas State started spring ball last week, or I think it was actually yesterday. And so we will look into that next week as well. Also, by the way, 2 Alabama head coaches, now assistant head coaches. Try that again. Take 2. Need a 30. 2 Alabama assistant basketball coaches heading to the Sun Belt. Georgia Southern hiring one and Arkansas State hiring one. When they become available, we'll try to get them on the show. They're a little bit busy right now, still playing in the NCAA tournament. All right. Please have a fantastic weekend. I am your host, Dave Schultz, and you've been watching Locked On Sunbelt, your team every day.